thank you for having me today. Thank you for Andy, and generally thank you for Alexander College for giving me this opportunity to address the Cypriot people. And a big thank you for the rector of Course State Medical University for making the trip and joining us on this evening. I hope some people saw the book. This is a book not about a diet, because diets are frustrating and limited in time. This is a book about a lifestyle, a book about a way of thinking more than a way of eating. We, as a human being, have been born free from God, and I have been, for the last 45 years of my life, looking where is my freedom. And my freedom was a freedom from any obsession or any addiction. While I didn't eat meat or drank alcohol or coffee for 20 years, there was still one addiction that I didn't know that I was addicted to. And this was addiction to carbs. This is the addiction that most of us human today have been addicted to, because they have put carbs in baby's food, up to any yogurt or any what they call healthy foods today. So 2 years ago, by chance, let's just say, by a happy coincidence, I came to know about keto. After I have done many diets, lost a lot of weight, and gained weight again. This is the first time I lost weight, but I gained myself back again. Today, I think that I have changed. I changed mentally as well as physically, and I think that I have a duty to change the world too. Because addiction to carb is a big health issue that cannot be tackled by individuals trying to do a diet, but by policymakers trying to change the rules behind what is said to be healthy and what's not healthy really. We need to rehabilitate fat, and what is nicer than losing weight while you are nibbling on a piece of butter? I always say, if people want to see my pictures, they can see. I lost these pictures by starting my day eating butter. I think that with Course State Medical University, we are trying to do some clinical trials to prove the health benefits, or certain of the health benefits of the diet itself. I am proud that Alexander College and Course State Medical University are offering Nic's Keto as a course, because as much as we can just give a certificate of completion of the course, I myself think we should give a certificate of rebirth for every person who have finished the course, because he will be reborn as he should have been from the beginning, free from the main addiction, which is carbs again. We find carbs everywhere. Carbs are everywhere today. They are in different forms, and detecting them need a huge work. That's why I tried in my book to simplify keto, because keto in principle is eating low carb and high fat, but Nic's Keto is eating healthy greens with healthy fats with limited quantities of protein. That's what I call today a clean keto, because nibbling on bacon is nice, but you will stall at a certain time. I have been told that at a certain point that I will drop dead because of my diet, because my people didn't believe that you can have a healthy heart, a healthy vascular system, eating so much fat. But my medical results that are fully public can show how I went from a high inflammatory readings on before I went to this high fat food, from pre-diabetics taking medicine to a very, very healthy person. I am happy, I am healthy, and I can tell you very simply, keto is not only freeing your mind and your body, it's giving you an advantage, because I take life as simple as a bank account, where God have given you a certain potential of health, and you can withdraw it at the speed you wish. And living a keto healthy life is not overdrafting on your health account. And this is how I hope we will live longer and healthier. I hope Cyprus, which I considered my home, because from the time I was very young, this was a very long time ago, every time things went wrong in my home country of Lebanon, I used to come to Cyprus as a refuge. And I always felt welcomed, as I'm feeling today here. I think the Mediterranean diet was a healthy diet, that people lived longer until they have put carb in all the foods that are included in the Mediterranean diet. Today there is carb even in your cheese. You don't need it. It's in the palm oil or the corn syrup that they add to all the food to make it nicer. I am proud that the first course will be taught in Cyprus, in Alexander College, that shows what we always say, that Cyprus maybe is small in size, but is big in its heart, welcoming us, and by its innovation, being ready to try something new. I am really proud today that you came. I am ready to answer any of your questions. I can say that with the corporation of Kursate Medical University, where I worked for a long time, and where innovation is their principle of work, where doubt is their principle of creation. With Kursk, we started 25 years ago with 20 foreign students. Today is the #1 Russian university, or #2 in medicine, in foreign students. They are teaching 45 different countries. And it's growing and growing. Why? Because they are ready to try something new every day. We started cooperating with Alexander College not long time ago, but I feel we are going the same way, always growing in this corporation further. I will not take longer a lot, but I tell you very simple thing that I had to answer somebody in the morning. They told me, do you have a last message to everybody? I say yes. There is only the word of God that we should not doubt, because it came from him. All other rules, principle, and science is made by man, and including what I am telling you today. So start doubting me and start doubting all what they have taught you in medical books, in medical studies for the last 50, 100 years, because this is where we can start finding where are the mistakes that have done all this catastrophe to our health systems. And this is where we can start to change each one of us and change the world together. Thank you a lot.
Και τώρα θα συνεχίσουμε με απορίες, σχόλια προς τον συγγραφέα σχετικά με την παρουσίαση του βιβλίου του. Παρακαλώ.
Can you give us an example of a typical day what you eat and what you drink from morning to evening?
It's very simple. There is two different types of days. I do intermittent fasting with keto. So for 5 days a week, approximately, I wake up, and the first thing I can say, I wake up very happy because I look at myself at the mirror and I say, I'm a new man. I'm a beautiful man on the top of the world, because I know how I was ugly, sad, and depressed 2 years ago. So this is how I start my day. I have a nice coffee without nothing else, and I go to my gym at certain time if I can. I do heavy gym. It's not mandatory on keto, but this is what gives you extra happiness. And afterward, I have a meal. Usually, it's a big salad, big green salad of leafy, like broccoli, lettuce, rucola. I add to it very nice nuts on top of it, usually the high-fat nuts like macadamia or almonds. Put some butter on the top, or some oil, or some, and afterward I have 5 eggs maybe, or I have a nice piece of meat. And if I was nice that day, or it's a weekend, I treat myself with the fattiest cream cheese available. I add to it 100% cacao and a little bit of erythritol or stevia. But I don't do it every day because I think sweet taste make you hungrier. On usual day when I eat, I just have 2-3 eggs in the morning with a nice piece of butter. I salt it because when you are in keto, you lose a lot of water and a lot of salt. And afterward, I have a very nice meal, the same meal approximately. You are never hungry when you have eaten your fat. Fat is satiating. You really don't want to eat. And this is the plus of it. I mean, I tried Atkins, I tried low carb, low calories, I tried everything. I have been struggling. I can tell you a very small, short story. A few years ago, I was in Lebanon visiting friends. And I have seen a guy that I met a few years earlier in Belgium. At that time, I had lost, one of the time when I lost weight. And the man said, for the last few years, I always thought how such a fat, ugly man can have such a nice wife. And this has stayed in my head until I did my keto. Because every time I was gaining weight, I was thinking this is what everybody is thinking when he looks at me. So now, every time I see a piece of cake, every time I see a piece of bread, I can say you have two choices. Or to be an ugly man near a beautiful wife, or to be a beautiful man near a beautiful wife, and you just drop this food. And every time I drop it back.
Yes.
Is this diet mainly for people who are obese, or is it okay for someone with less kilos to lose?
Let us say again, I think it's a wrong word to say it's a diet, it's a lifestyle. I think when keto was first done, it was purely for medical reasons. It was, and it's still taught and used in Johns Hopkins as the only medicine, as the medicine of last resort for people with epilepsy. So that's where it started from. Keto have another issue. It's a fast mimicking diet. That means in all religions, all over the time, fasting, which again, we have to be clear, fasting is not eating potatoes and carbs. So the church have eased fasting now, but the real fasting is fasting without food. So fasting without food have always been something very, very good for your health. So keto is a fast mimicking diet where you have all the effects of fasting while you don't have to keep off all the food. So I don't believe that I need to lose more weight. I just stay on keto because I want to live happier and longer. One of my friends, and I don't take it as a medical as a medical confirmation, used to be taking medicine for depression. The moment he is in ketosis, he stops it. I believe that keto is a solution for many, many, many illnesses. I think the Americans are doing a lot of tests. We hope to beat them up in course doing more clinical trials and finding more stuff to do. But it will not be the only solution for all illnesses, but a solution for many. So as it is a lifestyle, forget about which weight you are in. If you want to be happier, if you want to be free from the worst addiction ever, the addiction you don't know is an addiction, which is sugar, do keto.
Παρακαλώ.
Following on from what you just mentioned, I was recently diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. So I started researching my diet, came up as without giving it a super name, there was a lady in the US who was diagnosed with this 1 year ago, and she started researching the diet without giving it, which now has been 6 years. So as a zombie of a diet, definitely can heal. But I still have a lot of questions. One of them being, do you eat fruit? Because fruit is sugar.
No.
Completely out of the diet.
Let me answer you like this. I don't want to comment on every illness, but I read some papers about MS, and I think there is a clinic in Sweden or in Germany that is doing a lot of work about it to relate to keto and MS. But let us go back to fruit, and it's very simple. There is a lot of doctors over here that can explain more clearly. But when you eat glucose, it can go into your glycogen in all your body, in all your muscle, where you have a big capacity of intake of glucose. When you eat fructose, it can be stored in one glycogen in your liver, which is maximum 70 grams of sugar, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, eating fruit is the fastest way of getting out of ketosis, and ruining your diet. I personally think that unless you are a baby that can eat anything, a grown man don't need either milk or fruit. And even what's called some of what we call nuts, like the cashews, are fruits, I think. So you have really to avoid anything that have the fruit label on it. It's a very big difference. Look, lactose is the sugar. Butter is approximately free of it. That means when you beat the milk, you get the sugary part into the water that is left, and the fat part. That means butter is the pure fat of the milk. Again, I personally insist on one very simple thing. If you are going to eat an animal who have been eating soya, even the fat coming from this animal is already a problem. So I always insist on grass-finished animal products, because what the cow have eaten, you will eat it back. So.
Παρακαλώ.
Are there any scientific studies
This is very important. This is a study we are going to start, and it started with a very small story. I have to take more time to do it. When I started my keto, after a few months, and I am a man that want to live longer, so I do a lot of medical tests, really a lot. So I was doing more and more tests, and my LDL levels were going higher and higher. At a certain point, my doctor in the UK, who was a very, very modern, very aggressive person, he was looking at as a global, and he said I was not very worried. But there is a test called plaque 2, I think now, plaque 2, and it shows what should be a high level of plaque deposition in your arteries. So the test should give a result like 200. I got a result of 900. So the word of the doctor was start praying. So, but I am not stupid. I am not a doctor. But I know one thing: you cannot have oxidation and deposit of plaques while you have low inflammatory readings in your body. So my high protein, what's called high C proteins, where CRP went from 4 point to 0.4. So there were some things that didn't correlate. So I went to Germany and I asked for the most advanced heart scans that is possible. We did it. We did an echo on my vascular system. It came with 0 calcification. The word of the doctor was, you have a heart of 18 years old. So my theory today is very simple. Is LDL without carbs don't oxidate. And I am going to try to prove it through clinical trials, because the business of $30 billion of statins, one of the biggest business in the world, and 10% of the American budget going to fund corn growth, which do all the corn syrups that we are buying, will not be happy with keto, ever. So the only way to prove that's right is just by doing clinical trials. And we should do not 2, maybe we should do thousands of them. And I think this is the only way that doctors like you, who have a long experience, who have been taught and have been teaching that high fat is a problem, can see that what we are saying is correct and start correcting the symptom. I cannot correct the books. It's you who have to do it.
Thank you, Dr. Tzenios.
Thank you.